Well, hello and welcome back to the Mariner. Now, the last time that we went through tools, we looked at the rigging bag. There's a link just above me here for that video. We looked at what's in my rigging bag. I got some fantastic comments from you guys, got some fantastic information to improve that, and a few people saying, hey, that's like unnaturally tidy. And as I said in one of the previous videos, it's only unnaturally tidy because I'm a very lazy person, and that's the only way to make jobs pass quickly is to have all the gear sorted out. So today we're going to be looking at the electrical bags. Now they're down here. They're in 3 different boxes. We'll go through them relatively quickly. Basically the division is, this is the bag you go to which has got all the tools in it. This is the box you go to for little additional parts that might be required for what you're doing. And this is the one which has got all of the kind of mid-size spares that we might have use for. We do have some other larger spares, but we're not going to get into those because they're all just individually wrapped, as you might imagine. So let's get into what's in the tool bag first. Okay, so this kind of tool bag is readily available anywhere. It's not made with the most expensive of materials. You can see here, how do we even get this open? I've never opened it. Look, there's a bit of rust on it there. This is the problem with this kind of thing on a boat, is that it's all made of cheap materials and it's gonna start rusting. But the good thing when you've got a bag like this is that if there's moisture in here, it can just drain out, okay? It can get out of the bag, and you need that because otherwise everything starts to get wet. So I've got very little around the outside. Here is just shrink wrap. There should literally only shrink wrap in there. I'm going to unpack the whole thing. What else we got here? Dielectric grease. So I think they're the only things that are in the outside of this bag. Yeah, all right, everything's on the inside. And the reason for that is that where this is stored on the shelf, if there's too many things sticking out the side, as you jam it in and get it into position, it ends up catching on everything as it's going in. So let's have a quick look in here now. So what have we got? On the far side here, the first thing we're gonna have to do is cut wire. The next thing we're gonna have to do is strip the ends off the wire. These are kind of like a crossover tool which has got cutters and crimpers and strippers and all sorts of things. But if we're doing anything with crimping, we've got these 3. So obviously wire snips, nice and easy. Let's make a little space here. If we then need to take the end off a piece of wire, these are the ones that cut the end off the piece of wire. Maybe we can just have a quick look at that in case you haven't seen that tool before. It's one of my favorite tools actually in the little arsenal of bits and bobs we've got in here. And these ones again from my father's toolkit. So it goes in here, boom, and then you've got a nice clean end on it. So they're super useful. So these are kind of crossover tool. They're a quick thing that you can jump in and get them, but you see you've got these exposed surfaces. It's a very cheap tool, so it's very easy for it to end up messed up. But if you were reaching in the bag and something else was missing, this might well help you out. And then here, these are the crimpers, which are the ones that seal off those Lucas type connectors. Again, one's from my father's tool bag, so they're very old, at least 20, 25 years old, but it gives me a lot of pleasure to work with them, knowing that they were his tools before. The jumper cables, I found these the other day actually and realized they were getting all mildewed, so I've decided to put them inside here. Should it come to a point where we need to jump something on this boat, one thing to another, I want them to be in as good a condition as possible. We saw already there's a couple of reels of wire in here. That's little jobs we've got going on next. Tools, now, what have we got here? The soldering torch. I am not the best solderer in the world, but I am getting better and better, and over time, I guess, getting better at this. Underneath is this very particular pair of tweezers which allows you to hold things together, which makes life a lot easier, and this for picking and moving part solder. One of the things I really love with the gas torches like this, they're on and they're instantly available, and the gas which goes with them also helps me fill up the little gas lighter which is in the rigging bag. But this little tool here is one of my favorites. This is for when you've got shrink wrap and you want to get it warmed up and sorted out onto a wire. Of course, I pick up the most awkward piece of shrink wrap in the world to work with. Here we go. So imagine it's on a wire. Once this guy's on, you can then start to go up and down, up and down. It starts to shrink it on. And this just makes it that instead of your shrink wrap being all burnt and crispy and covered in smoke, which mine used to, suddenly this is a way of doing it in a bit more of a professional manner. I say I am not very good at soldering, but it's damn useful and very, very much required on a boat. What have we got here? Okay, multimeter. This is my favorite multimeter because it's got a light on it, which makes life a lot easier. It's got a hold button. If I want to look at a value and check a value, I can put two little things onto the wires over here, kind of out of reach, and then press the button, have a look. Okay, now you see what was on there, and it's got every kind of test that you might want to do. We can go into multimeters at another time, but I just want to kind of go through the bag. You either know or don't know how to use a multimeter. Just down in here is some bits of paper and a whiteboard marker and a permanent pen. Sometimes need to take notes, and sometimes if you're in a hot mess and need to sort something out quickly, you can just do it on the walls, but you do have to make sure that it's a wall that's not matte, otherwise it's impossible to get off. As with every other tool bag on the boat, this torch, and it's this particular kind of torch, this is from Energizer. It has retroreflective marks here. It's LED and runs for like 40 hours, and it's got a completely sealed end, and it's designed to float this way up. So if it's in the water, it can be seen, and this is a really useful torch in case anybody goes over the side. Every tool bag on the boat has got one of these. You take this, chuck it in the water, and you've got an identifier for somebody at night, but obviously it also works as a normal torch for whatever you might be doing. Zip ties, of course, little zip ties, big zip ties, and they're just tied off to each other just to stop them being, too much of a handful in the bag. And then these little boxes in here, we got two, should be three, yeah. Lucas connectors. I don't like having to fix things with Lucas connectors. The correct way of doing it is to solder things. But sometimes it comes down to that. And sometimes you make up a system, make it all work, and then go back later and solder everything together and do it right. And for anybody that hasn't seen these guys working, we would have a piece of wire like this. We've got this one over here. And Lucas are the manufacturers or original designers of these things. Hey, you go in there making me look bad. Go on, you give me a yellow one? All right. Lucas is otherwise known as Lucas Prince of Darkness because their their electrical gear fails on such a common basis when it's in a car or something. But these ones, although it's missing from this one, I know what it is. At the top is red, at the middle is blue, and at the bottom is yellow. So top, middle, bottom. And these ones were damaged in a fire that my father had at his garage in 1993, which was a major turning point in my life. And so I love having on board a few of the tools that survived that fire, because they were tools that then allowed our family to rebuild itself afterwards. My dad stooped and built everything back up again with worn out tools, and although he's gone now, that lesson survives. So yeah, some of the tools don't look so fancy, but boy oh boy do they work. All right, so that would be there, and then if you've got a good connection, not too bad. You can make that look a bit better with some shrink wrap over the top of it or something, then use your tool over here to heat that down. Actually, well, why don't we do it while we're here? See, we're making one up in case you haven't seen this before. I do love this torch. Now, Solid's law says, of course, that it'll have no gas in it. That's just how life works. So we move this, press down here, move down here. That higher pitch whine means it's running. You slide the little thing over and it's on constant. What's that, 4 or 5 seconds? And then this should be ready to go. I'm not interviewing for a job as an electrician, by the way. I'm in awe of people that really know what they're doing with this stuff. My skills, as always, are enough to get by and get through to the other side where someone can fix it properly. There we go. So whilst I might not be the best at soldering, I'm pretty dab hand with shrink wrap. Don't want to go too much as it starts to get all crinkly and sooty, but not sweep. For those in the UK, you'll get that joke. All right, turn this guy off. Try and remember that it's super hot, and then we've got a connection. See, that one's not come down as tight as you might like. So what I would probably have been done, if this really was my plan for the day, this is what I was doing. I'd have a smaller piece, I'd have put that on first, had that inside, then the two would have shrunk down together and give a proper seal. But we're not doing lessons on how to do electrical connections, certainly not with Lucas connectors, but just looking at how the tools work together. So what's the chance I'm going to burn myself? So all sorts of different connections in there, and it looks like we're doubled up here. Again, maybe something that can be brought together. In here is fuses. I've got to say, on this boat, there's very, very few places where there's glass fuses, but they were in this set of equipment that came with the boat, and you often get them on going into the back of a VHF or something, so they're here now, and these ones are useful for what's on the boat. And I love, if I can, have everything glass topped, or certainly clear topped, so you can see what's going on inside. So we've got those. What else is in here? Now this is a really useful tool. Again, this is another one of my dad's ones. This is a super useful tool. It's got a piece of shrink wrap on it, so that it heat shrink on it, so that it doesn't poke anybody. But so this tool is super useful. It's actually really more from the automotive world. So if I've got 2 wires, I want to check continuity, I can clip this guy on and then touch the other side, and a little light will come on and tell me whether there's a circuit. Also, I can click these 2 on, it will tell me if there's power, and then I can click one on and touch the other, and it will tell me if the lead is connected to the positive or negative side. So I can work out, if I've got 2 lines coming in and they've got weird colors, or I don't know what's going on at all, they're the same color, it'll tell me which is positive, which is negative, if there's power, and if there's continuity. So a very useful tool for trying to problem solve things on a boat. What else? We've got electrical screwdrivers, various different sizes, and then a pair of little pliers. And the little pliers are for jobs that happen to be useful in electrical work, but also these pockets in here are too big for little electrical screwdrivers and things, so I can grab them out if they get lost. And down here there should be come on, you're making me look bad. There we go. There's a little Phillips screwdriver down there, and then a little electrical test. This is a 220 volt boat, and so this is an electrical test screwdriver for 100 to 500 volts. So I can literally just go along and test and see if there's, well, I could do it here, can I? Can we get in there? European sockets. So safe. You can pop it in, and when you do get power, it will insulate you and tell you whether there's power available in that socket. So pretty good there. Anything else? Oh yeah, and inside here, this is to remind me like what level we should be working at on this boat. These are the little collars which are meant to go on every little wire, and then through the number coding tell you should be able to look at your electrical diagram, and then look at the wire in front of you, and then relate the number that you've put onto it onto what's on the diagram, and then know absolutely what's happening with every wire you touch. I can tell you that this is you could blow the dust off this guy. I want to get there. We're not at that point yet, but it's in here to remind me like how we should be doing this. So those are the tools that are in this main bag. Let's go over and have a look at the small electrical items storage box. So if you are enjoying this, and this is something that you'd like to see more of, like behind the scenes of sailing and how to get things done, please go below and put a like, put a comment, share, subscribe, all those things. Click the bell, which means that you'll get the notifications as soon as something new is released. And of course, as always, if you don't like it, then really underline that by double clicking the dislike button. Okay, let's have a look inside this box. Okay, so this box, the idea is these are the little things that come along that you need help for. What we got? We got some little jeweler's screwdrivers, sometimes necessary for electrical repairs. We've got a little pair of cutters if there's limited access to something. Guess that's just one of the dividers sitting in there. Again, one of these little multi-tool things that kind of does everything. It strips and cuts and everything else you might want to do. Just sitting in there in case, I know, there's an issue somewhere else. This is the thermal probe off my multimeter if I ever need to take temperature. But one thing I was going to show you is that in here is one of the little thermal detectors, so you can get temperatures of things if you want to. Particularly working on the engine, we need to know what temperature things are. It's an easy way of working out if there's an issue. What we got in here, let's have a see. This is a relay for starting the main engine in a plastic bag tucked away inside. It's a switch, so it goes with a little switch I've got here. What else we got? We got little connectors up here. I think I could do with some more connectors, but I'm trying to just get a bead on this boat and what there is. There's a couple bits of wire here that can be useful for just little situations where you need a short bit of wire to jump something. They're too small to have rattling around in the bag down there, so they're just kind of in here. And then for some reason I have loads of buzzers. This one looks like it actually connects into the Raymarine system, but there's loads of buzzers, which these just came with the boat, so I'm just I'm waiting. Maybe there's some aspect to this boat that you need to have loads of buzzers, and if I get rid of them prematurely, I'll be in trouble. What else we got? Loads of lug connections for the batteries. I do want to increase the size of the battery bank on this boat, so I guess they're going to be useful. Some bigger fuses. I'm not 100% on the exact fuse requirements for this boat, but again, they're already on board, so why not keep them? Some little diodes, not very useful. I'm not somebody who'd actually know what to do with these, but again, who knows, something might come up. Little burials and little, these are the little things that go on the back of the instruments that hold them into position. We've got some FME adapters and little coaxial plugs and things. It's, you know, it's kind of like other stuff. These are little mounting brackets for electrical device. Obviously solder over here. What's that underneath there? Oh, still solder. Bulbs. Yeah, most of the bulbs on the boat now, we've gotten rid of these ones and we go for these ones. But there's a, you know, there's a little supply of those if we might need them. More of those Lucas connectors, maybe even a little bit better quality ones. This is, you know, we've got heat shrink here. We've got some red lens tape if we need to make little red lenses for anything inside the boat. And then a couple of items. Looks like there's some switches here. Yeah, momentary switches and 12 volt. This actually needs to go down in the nav station, that guy. So there's a little bit of a mix here where it's gear that may be required alongside the main tool bag. So I guess we can bring the tool bag up and say, you know, that's where you'd normally go, and then if you needed some extra spares, they'd be in here. I guess this guy's going to live in here until the job gets done. And then in this box is other stuff that may be required, but not as far as like the spares for the boat. And again, just to reiterate, the reason that these boxes are as tight as they are is twofold. Number one is I'm a very lazy person, as I always say, and this is the easiest way not to have loads of hassle later on. I have learnt this over time. Just baggy stuff up. It's an enjoyable hour or two to put these together, and then you know, it doesn't have to be labeled and everything, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know what's in here is useful, usable, and later on you can get to it. That's the first reason. Second reason, having decided to do this series, there's thousands of people looking inside my toolboxes, so, you know, what would you do? Anyway, let's get on with this one. Okay, so everything in this box is spare parts which are too big to go in here, and they're too small to be individually wrapped and then stored elsewhere around the boat. But there's a lot of things here which allow other jobs to happen. There's no tools in here, but there's all the kind of little accessory bits that you need to get a job done. So these three things work in concert to solve most small problems, unless you're going to have to go and get, you know, a unit and then bring the unit to bear on the job. So on the top here is an NMEA cable. This boat has a mix of Raymarine and B&G. It's good to have a couple of longer cables of each sort on board. Obviously, whether you're trying to connect something that's 30 centimeters apart or 3 or 4 meters apart, what does a lot does a little, so it's good to have one big cable. Okay, so this is a kind of identifier for where we're all at the moment. We're all changing over slowly from older technology, older style bulbs to the newer style stuff. The LED stuff is so much more efficient, and these Bay 15D bulbs with this offset pin type, the 2 pins on the end, this is what was in every nav light for, you know, decades and decades, right? But we're all trying to swap over. Some of the newer style units now, you can't, well, like this Lopo light that we're working on over here, all the LEDs are integrated into it. There's no bulb in there, but still there's a benefit. Actually, I'm having to fix that because it's got water inside, it's all fused. These guys, you could just swap the bulb out. So there's still a benefit here, and you've got to decide which kind of light fixture you want to have. This is me making sure I've got spares in here that next time I go up to the steaming light, I know one of these needs to go in, and this is a spare, I guess, for the stern light. But we're going to see hardly any of those old style glass ones now with the filament inside. They're done and gone. This is here, I know, specifically for a job that's coming. I've just bought this. I need to change the connector on the base of the antenna at the top of the mast, so that's there, ready to go for that one. A good spare to have on board. That's the one that you don't need to solder. You pass that bit over the wire, you splay out the coaxial cable for your VHF antenna, in it goes inside, you tighten everything together. If the seagulls sitting on your antenna at the top, if they slip and put their feet on the wire, they can pull the wires out the bottom of the antennas, and if you've only got the solder type, really, unless you're a dab hand at soldering, you're going to have to fix the antenna when the mast next comes down. So having one of these on board is very, very useful. I guess that could have been in there, but it's right here ready to go because I know I've got the job to do. Okay, so these are red LEDs, and white LEDs here. So there's a job ongoing throughout the boat at the moment. This boat has these little aprons as a design style all throughout the boat. They're all in here as well. And at the moment, they're all on a kind of blue light. I turn it on, but we're halfway through the job, and some of them are on, some of them aren't working. But they're all blue, which is, it's kind of cool, but it's not useful at all to what's going on, you know, in terms of operating the boat. So the red LEDs, I just bought them the other day through Amazon. They're waterproof, and you can cut them to whatever length you want. I'm going to replace all of them throughout here with red, so that when we turn the switch on, instead of having fancy blue lights, we're going to have nice, useful red lights, which is going to be much more useful. So you can see this box is acting as a kind of way station for jobs which are ongoing. We've got the little coaxial cable, we've got this guy, and some white ones. I'm going to make sure above the sink there's also an option for a white one so you can still see. These are the connectors for the Raymarine system, as are these the cables for the Raymarine system. So any issues, any water ingress that shorts something out, if we want to change up, and these cables, even the little short cables, are like $30 each. These things here, another $30 each. And NMEA cables here, the little connectors that go in with that cable. All of these things, if you slowly collect them over time, you know, you can take this box, these boxes, off the boat when you sell it and take it to the new boat, right? They don't have to stay with the boat. Your tools and your spares should come with you, and then you get to know your kit and you don't have to restart every time. This is a set of, okay, this is a color changing set of lights I'm going to put in the nav station for mood lighting, or more particularly that I can have white or have red as and when I want it. You see these things come up cheap, or they're on sale at Walmart or something, you know, to see if it's going to be useful. Another LED light. This is a little stern light, but we already have a stern light. What this is for is that I'm going to put a area light in the cockpit, so there is the ability, if you know, so many times when we're dealing with new crew who don't know the boat, who are not used to being at sea, they come up on deck, and then you can end up in a situation where like nobody's got their head torch. If I've forgotten to ask and they're all half asleep, so I do need an area light that I can just flick on, and then the cockpit is lit up if we have to do a job. I can't pause for the job and then everybody goes below and gets their head torch, so that's going to be used as an area light. This is a gland which is used for bringing solar panel power down and into the boat. It seals that off. You see, so there's lots of little jobs. These guys, I found these next to the rubbish bin here at the marina the other night. They're little junction boxes. Might not be useful for anything. They can live in here for a year. If I don't use them, fine, we'll just chuck them away, put them next to the bin. Always leave the good stuff that you're throwing out next to the bin at the marina. Then if other people see it, they can take it. More LED lights. These are going to go in the engine bay, so we're going to be lit up like fairyland by the time we're done with this. This is a little test rig that really I tend to use this with car stuff at home. I work a lot with classic cars. This clips onto the battery, and then you can take power to somewhere else and check that things are working. It's not so useful on a boat because you don't really have a spare battery to take with you, so it's probably going to migrate its way off the boat, but it was on here probably for some particular job. Little bits of random wire. These are little power cables by the look of it. Yeah, so little cigarette lighter ones. There's a little one there that goes in the back of a VHF. There's one there for a chart plotter, I think, that guy there in yellow. So there's all sorts of things there which add up to being power cables. I say nothing's labeled. The reason they're just in these zippy bags is because if they get wet, obviously they're trash, and it's just a way of keeping them roughly together. Otherwise it's just a big churning like asp nest. You can't tell what on earth's going on in here. We've got inline fuses. Well, I've got inline fuses for weeks here. This is not an issue, but if we're adding gear, we've got it here. It reminds us to always make sure everything's got a fuse on it. Little RG45 cable. I think my hope is that this might be the one that clicks into the inverter, and then I can connect it to my laptop, and then my laptop can maybe tell the inverter, well, can either help diagnose the inverter or can tell the inverter that it's connected to AGM batteries, not lithium, because I think that might be the issue now. Oh, this, okay. Well, I don't know what this is, so if you recognize what this is, please write in and tell me. These pins, it does look a bit like it could be off a fridge or off an air conditioner or something. What's it say on the back here? Oh, it says cargo M101 131 280. So if you have any idea what that is, it was on the boat when I got the boat, so you know, the way that it's made of this nickel, I don't think it's even probably a boat thing, but it's in there for now. But this is not just static. This will drift into being different things over time. If something's not useful, it just goes off in the end. And then a lot of battery cables down here, because we're going to be increasing the size of the battery bank on this boat. So I've been kind of collecting them, finding them off other boats, in the boat yards, that kind of stuff. And then that'll be a job later on that I'm going to do. And I have no idea what that's specifically about. So there we go. So that's what's inside my electrical tool bags. These guys all live together in one spot, so I know if I've something I need to fix, and it's tools wise, I'm in here. If it's a little thing, a little little widget that I need to go and get, it's in here. And then smaller spares are in this box. And as I say, if we have other spares, they're individually wrapped and they're off in another cupboard. Water and the salt environment on a boat and all the shaking and banging around is a very, very bad environment for anything electrical. The other thing you have to remember on a boat is that if you're in a hot area or if you have hot engine spaces, every degree centigrade above 50 Celsius, it loses 5% of the efficiency from any circuit which is running with a chip. So if you've got a hot engine room which is sitting at 60 degrees Celsius, then you've already lost 10 times 5%, 50% of the efficiency of your gear is gone. And I've worked on some boats which have got very badly designed spaces where things are constantly getting moist, they're constantly getting humid, or they're getting very, very hot, and you've got a massive demand for replacing little bits and sorting jobs out all the time. So I come from an environment where you're a long way away from anywhere, and there's no one going to back you up. So I guess between those different philosophies, I end up having quite a lot of gear on board. But even if you had a smaller boat, this tool bag would absolutely be the same, and the small box here would absolutely be the same. And then this is essentially the beginning of the spares for your boat. So I would have this even if I had a 35-foot boat. There's nothing in this bag which is here because it's an 85-foot boat. There's nothing in here which is any of this is to do with the size of the boat. This is just the kind of, obviously maybe you don't need all these battery things, like, okay, fair enough, you don't need to have a 6-meter NMEA cable, but everything else is exactly the same. So I'd be very interested to find out what's in your tool bags, or if there's electricians who are saying, hey, you've forgotten something important in there. I've been able to fix a lot of the issues I've had with the stuff that's here, but I'm always willing to learn, and I'm always willing to develop what I've got to make life easier. So if you've enjoyed this, please go down below, put a little comment and chat to me, tell me what it's about, put a like. You have to share and subscribe for the algorithm to know that you enjoy this content. Ring the bell if you want to be updated when I'm putting something new out, which we're getting back into this now and doing more of all the time. So from the electrical bag, which one would you like to look at next? We've got like mechanical tools and what else is there? Rigging bag, electrical bag, medical kit, the tool bags. Oh, I guess the safety gear would be the next thing. That's a big one. What's in our safety gear? So put in the comments below what you'd like to see next. And as always, I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you are safe, you are sound, and I look forward to chatting to you in the next one. Cheers.